Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Uju TV. But before we begin, let this quote guide your reflection today. Prayer keeps awakening aligned with God and not ego. Prayer is not optional, it is essential when your awareness increases. It keeps you aligned with divine truth instead of personal interpretation. Prayer is not about asking endlessly. No, it's about maintaining connection, humility, and clarity. Because through prayer, you return to God again and again, especially when your mind is active with questions, revelation, and spiritual experiences, right? Prayer keeps you connected to God at all time when you are waking up, right? Because through it, you have a personal communication about what is happening around you and what is happening in your life as you are waking up. Because waking up comes, just like I said, I will always say, comes with a lot of knowledge and awareness. But in a place of prayers, you communicate your revelation. You communicate the insights. You communicate the messages. You communicate everything that you have been getting, the downloads and all of that about those informations that you are getting, and ask questions, necessary questions. Because when you begin to wake up, your mind is filled with questions. You have a lot of questions. Like I always say, you have a lot of questions to ask because you're seeing and viewing things that you have not, you're connecting to things that you have not been able to connect to all your life for the first time. So confusion sets in. So what prayer does for you is it clears out the confusion, because when you sit with God, you have discussion with God and talk about the situations. And when you start waking up, you listen to yourself. You might not understand it right now, but those that understand it will. You listen to that God that lives inside of you for direction and guidance, right? And that most times happen in the room of prayer. When you make out time to discuss with God, that does not mean that God does not speak to you at every point in time. He does, right? But when you have time to communicate, there are some certain things that noise might be stopping you from hearing. But when you sit in stillness to communicate with God in prayers, the answers will come to you, right? So prayer is essential, very, very necessary when you are waking up. It is not optional. It is something that you have to do. You make out time daily to communicate with God. Because you need to hear the informations from God. Because if you're not hearing it from God, just like I always say, informations will come from somewhere else and you will pick up on them because you are sensitive. Your energy is very sensitive. You pick up on things, right? You might pick up on the energies that you're not supposed to pick up on and think that you are getting answers from God. But when you sit in stillness and you talk to God, the Spirit of God that is inside of you knows you are talking to that spirit, because you will make a mention of it. You will call on your angels. You will call. You understand? It is a subtle ritual, right? Because remember, you create, is your voice. So whatever you call into existence exists. Then you call on those spirits that you know they are the good one. You have to be very specific when you are doing it. You don't just talk. You talk and you will be very because you are very sensitive. Whatever you call into existence exists. So when you are speaking, you have to be very, very specific and direct. Always make sure that when you are working on this journey, prayer is part of your lifestyle, because it will save you in so many situations. When you anchor yourself in God, you attach prayer to it, because that is how you communicate with the God that lives inside of you on a daily basis. It is essential. It is not optional. Make sure. Let it be part of your life. right? Because when we talk about listening to the God that lives inside of us, or when we talk about speaking with God, some people seem to not understand it. Speaking with God, there is no God that is coming out from heaven or anything to come and talk to you. No, it is you speaking to you. Remember, you are a spirit living human experience. The spirit of God lives inside of you. It is that one that lives inside of you, that is personal to you, that understands your situation, the questions you want to ask, whatever it is only that God that understands it. So when you begin to listen to the voice of God, it is that God that lives inside of you that you are listening to. But you have to first give that God permission to always speak. And when that God speaks, even if it's something that you don't understand fully, do it. You can't lose. It's not a losing game. It's a winning game at however you look at it. Just do it. Even if you're not seeing any result, just do it, because you know that there's nothing wrong in it. Do it. Either ways, right? Then that spirit begins to trust you. So when you sit in prayer, the spirit comes and speaks to you so that you understand how to navigate around any situation or circumstance. So today, keep it at the back of your mind that prayers help you to understand that awakening is not about self-evolution. It's about divine relationship. It's about the relationship you have with God. As much as, yes, you evolve, but that is not all about it, right? Because when you are growing and you don't have a relationship with God, you have missed your part. When you're waking up and you have lost your relationship with God, you have missed your part. And when you lose your relationship with God in your awakening journey, you will become very hard. Remember, I said you are sensitive. Everything about you is heightened, both your light and darkness is heightened at that point, because you understand each of them fully. You understand that they come together, they coexist to make you whole. You know it. So if you're not praying and you're not aligning yourself and having a good relationship with God, you become very hard. But what prayers will do for you is to soften your heart, strengthen your discernment, and strengthen your mind so that you understand the journey that you are going through and how to move around it without losing you. Affirmation for today. I honor prayer as a sacred connection with God. Through prayers, I remain humble, aligned, and grounded in divine truth. Prayer strengthens my discernment and keeps my awakening centered in God's wisdom and guidance. Thank you for joining me once again. And until next time on Uju TV, prayers keep the heart soft and humble.